Here we are, everybody. Hi. um, I had to do a lot of legwork between readings and class, so I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. But I have everything I need. There's a lot of moving parts for today, so I wanted to make sure I had everything, and I do. So welcome to session 3, where it is time. Now I will tell you, I'm going to put my cape on a little bit later because it's 85 degrees where I live today. And if I put this on, I will, right this very minute, I will melt through our journey. So I'm going to put my cape on when we begin. Some of you are fortunate enough where you have seasonal weather. And so you probably are going to feel nice and toasty in your cape. I'm not there yet because it's still so hot here today. I'm in a tank top and lightweight clothing. So when we prepare for our journey, I will cape up with you. But you are welcome to put your cape on now if you're in the mood, and maybe it's nighttime where you are or the weather is cooler. And so you just cape on up as soon as you're ready to do it. You got your cape on, Colin? It's hot here in Southern California, and we were supposed to be preparing for cooler weather, they kept saying. So I don't know exactly what's happening, but we will cape it on. And Michelle is nice and chilly where she is, so she's ready for it. Isn't the cape gorgeous, though? I'll tell you, the cape almost didn't happen. The cape was one of the hardest of this year's tools to get for you. And it was very expensive. But we wanted you to have one that, my goal was, I wanted you to have a cape that you would wear past, this class, that you would wear throughout the rest of your magical days, and so I was very picky. We were all very picky. Brooklyn and my entire product team was involved in it because they were like, pockets don't make it bulky. What does the clasp look like? We wanted to make sure that it was weighted perfectly for you. And I have loved seeing the pictures of you guys wearing it, and some of you have gone live and done videos wearing it, and I just want you to know how much it just warms my heart. Because of, all that we went through to bring it to you. So I'm glad you're loving it. Sarah says, my cats would love to add their fluff to the cape. Mine probably has some Bodhi fur on it and some other little kibbles and bits on it at this point because it's been all over my house and in my closet and on the floor of my closet. But you must take some pictures of yourself wearing it if you have it. There must be a selfie of you somewhere the end of the season with you all caped up. And if you didn't get the tools, maybe you have a cape of your own. And if so, I would love to have you go and get that and put that on for tonight's festivities. A lot of you have capes even if you don't have your tools. I'm going to show you what the rest of your tools look like for tonight. Let me bring this into some nice focus. And I put these on here by accident. These are next month's Crystal Masters tools. But these are for tonight. So, for the first time, we are working with our Fuse Elixir, which I hope you have loved. That's your spray bottle here. We're working with your Express Incense, which is a blend of skullcap with Palo Santo, heather, and white sage. I am going to light my charcoal disc and get a little incense going. I'm going to invite you to do the same. Just to set the stage, set the space for our work. There it goes. Maybe my charcoal discs seem very temperamental and not wanting to light. But once they go, they go. I think we're all the way lit. It should be good. So session 3 of October, can you believe it? We have 2 journeys left in 2021. 2 journeys left before we bid farewell to this incredible year and prepare ourselves to welcome the next. I'm so glad you love your cape. Oh, it makes me happy. You put the whole jar in your cauldron. Well, maybe you were meant to do that, Katrina. I'm ringing your bell. So anyway, welcome in. I hope that you are ready for the work of the evening. So I want to walk you through what the work of the evening is. A lot of times when I design session 3 for you, I get kind of like a hint of an idea. This month, and I told Alexis this too, this month it was like, this is what you're doing. I've been really not pressured, but definitely strongly guided for tonight's meditation, so I'm excited about it. I never do a meditation twice, with the exception of like Blue Room, which I've done a couple of times over the years just because it felt needed. It's such a powerful meditation, and I've done a couple of iterations. But in general, new moons and full moons and session 3 of Soul Shift, I tend not to repeat meditations because a lot of people have been with me for a really long time, and I don't want to do the same things over and over again. I like to keep it interesting for you. This is a different meditation than we've done before. And it was interesting because they usually will give me visuals for the journeys. And the visual they gave me for tonight is a rhombus. Really, I mean, I was shown it in 2D, but really it's an octahedron, okay? So, and the center of the octahedron for tonight is you. The other visual that would work for tonight's meditation, if you're somebody who studies more of the Eastern traditions, the Eastern spiritual traditions, the other symbol that kind of looks like tonight's work is the Vajra, or the Dorji, right, where you have the point on the top, and then you have the center, and you have the point on the bottom. That's another relevant image for tonight's meditation. So basically what we're doing tonight is a releasing ceremony, okay? But it will be a meditation, but it's really a ceremony to help you release. And I'm going to explain the why. And I will tell you, I am so happy for this experience alongside you because I have a lot to release too. Most of you know I'm 2 months into a really deep grief process. And I think I'm doing pretty well. But, I mean, there's no guidebook for grief, right? And some days are easier than others. So I'm really ready for tonight's work too because I have a lot to clear out before the end of the year. So if you think about the energy of the alchemical work that we've been doing, this is our last month of this particular stage of the fermentation process. Next month we go to what's called distillation, okay? And distillation is exactly what it sounds like. Distillation is distilling down. It's like, it's sharpening, it's intensifying, it is, for me, it's like a thickening almost. It's a deepening of the core of the essence of who you are after completing these first stages of the process. So we are finishing the 5th stage of alchemy next week with crafting. And we're going to make a smudge fan, together to complete that cycle. And a lot of you have a lot to let go. I mean, look at the feed, right? It's we've been through a lot. Thank you, Vanya, for asking. I have to say I'm doing pretty well. My dad and my uncle were together yesterday for the first time in 2 years, and they are best friends, and I got to host them. So in my life, everything is beautiful right now, but it's also that wave of grief is always very close to the surface, as I'm sure most of you know who've lost someone very close to you. But what I have learned going through this process, especially while I'm teaching and doing alchemy alongside you, is that there's nothing you can't alchemize. There's really nothing you can't alchemize. Everything responds to these stages. Everything responds to these steps. I'm doing exactly what I'm teaching you to navigate my own process. A lot of you are going through different challenges and different transitions and transformations. And I see you working the process too. And I want to tell you I'm really proud of you. Because I know, not only as your teacher, but as somebody who's doing the work, how incredibly intense it can be sometimes. And I also know it's easier to not do it. Or at least it seems easier to not do it, right? Like, I don't want to do this right now. It's too hard right now. I'll do it later. But all spiritual work, and I'm sure you know this, but all spiritual work is easier, if that's the right word, it's easier to do when you're closer to the experience. We often, my family uses the phrase "kick the can down the road." Do you know what that means? Like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I come from a long line of really skilled procrastinators, right? Especially when it comes to spiritual work. But what I've learned from my process is, if you do it early, it's almost like the scab doesn't even have a chance to form, and so you don't have to navigate as many layers of it, right? You let scab after scab after scab form, and what happens? Now you're not just healing the wound. Now you're having to heal through this dense layer of coping mechanisms and time and all the layers of things that have kind of like hardened and crystallized on top of the wound. So it takes longer. This is why I will tell you, and again, I have taught you this whole year. Begin the process while you're in the process. Like, begin the alchemical process while you are in the grief, while you are in the shock, while you are in the pain, while you are in the struggle. Begin it then. Because you'll just have less to slough off later, and the whole process will be easier for it. Does that make sense? Oh, interesting. I love it. Sarah said, my favorite quote is, when the pressure is on, act, and the pressure is off. Right? It's like, just do it. So tonight we're going to peel, because I also have things in my life that are older that I didn't do the work right away. I made excuses. I procrastinated. I waited. I kicked the can down the road, and I have some stuff that needs to be released. The reason the timing is so important right now, you don't want to carry any of the residual energy or any of the waste, if you will, what you have gone through and removed and peeled off and burned away and cleared out and rinsed out. You want to make sure all of that's out of the system before you go to distillation. And we learned this from the ancient alchemists. The ancient alchemists really believed that the quality of the magnum opus, right, the quality of the final product of your alchemy is only as good as the process itself. So if you carry impurities from the earlier parts of this year into November and December, you can't fully rest, you can't fully settle, you can't fully integrate. And then with the container of the new year and the new process and the new cycle beginning, some of that residual remains in the system. There's all kinds of, and I can see a lot of you are sharing sweet wishes for each other in the feed. Right now I'm sort of focused on the camera, but please know, if you're struggling, I really do see you too. And I know a lot of you are going through really intense times. My hope is that tonight will be a really important opportunity. And I would like to say this, I do want your spirit guides to guide the process tonight. I really do want your spirit guides to tell you and show you where to release. I'm going to first take you into the Akashic space tonight. And we're going to ascend first. We're going to ask spirit guides to show us in the records what might need to go tonight. Then we're going to come back down into our body, and then we're going to go through the Earth Star to release down into the center of the Earth, which is the ultimate space of transmutation. You know, the center of the Earth can take anything you can give it, and it does not need, you can't overwhelm it, and it does not need your help. So as soon as you release something to the center of the Earth, in my experience, it's immediately released from your system. And then we're going to conclude tonight's ceremony by consciously setting an intention, if you will, consciously opening a new container to begin the next process of distillation now, okay? Which means not only are we releasing tonight so that we're not carrying some of the byproducts of the alchemical process into these later stages, but I want you to already set the stage, because we're in a liminal space now between the last of the sloughing and the first of the new growth, if you will. Distillation is really that process of deciding what stays and allowing that to become more like a syrup, allowing that to thicken and start to marinate within you. Does that make sense? What happens? What if you don't release everything? Does something bad happen? No. That's a good question. Um, I will tell you this: you can't really make mistakes when it comes to releasing. Okay, first of all, you can. It's not like, oh shit, I didn't release this one thing, and now, ooh, now the floodgates are open, or now my new self is tainted, or anything like that. It isn't really possible to release everything. And I'll tell you, at least in my experience, the spirit guides don't let you. Um, some work still has to remain, right? You're not graduating from everything tonight. If you were graduating from everything, you'd probably be ready to leave the planet. So we're not ready to just release, graduate, you know, disembark, not completely. And that's why what I was going to say right before that, and so I'll say it to you now, is I'm setting an intention that you'll release one or two or three really big things tonight, or energies around one or two or three really big things tonight. And I would like you to think in terms of concentric circles. It'd be really great if you could release one thing from this year, and maybe one thing from the last 5 years, and then one thing from before those 5 years, one thing from the more distant past. But I want you and your spirit guides to negotiate that. That's just my guidance, okay? Yeah, and Lena said it beautifully, more beautifully than I could. She said, you can't release what you haven't resolved. And she is 3,000 billion% right. If, people will say, oh, I want to be released from anything that's, stressing me out. I want to be released from anything that's bringing me pain or worry. Some things are not going to go just because you're still in the middle of them. And this concept of karmic debt comes when we just go, oh, I'm ready to release these people and I'm ready to release all of this. And it's like, but you're not done yet, And again, I take some comfort in knowing I still have work to do, because I like being here, and I'm sure I'm here because I still have work to do. We're all works in progress. But don't worry, Jane. I mean, I'm super glad you asked, just because it gives me an opportunity to say that and kind of takes the pressure off. I don't want you to feel pressure tonight. When you think about tonight, I want you to feel a little excited and a little relieved. Like, yeah, you know what? I can feel that little clog in my pipe, and tonight we're gonna push past it. And how do you know if you're really ready to let something go? It's the ripe fruit on the tree. Do any of you grow fruit? I grow fruit trees. And if I go to pick a piece of fruit from my tree and I have to really yank it, twist it, pull it, and tug it, and and it's the branches splitting and stuff, I'm trying to pick a damn unripe piece of fruit. You know what I mean? But if I go to pick a banana or a mango or a fig or a persimmon, and that thing practically falls off the vine into my hands, it's like, yeah, that fruit was like totally ready to go. And then when I eat that, then I have the validation, like, oh yeah, that was really ripe and ready to go. I always say, I make it a habit not to pick unripe fruit, right? Leave things on the vine and let them grow and mature. How many of you feel like of at least one or two or three things in your life that are kind of ready? How about just one? Like, you're kind of ready. It's probably something you've been working on this year already, don't you think? It's probably something that you were alchemizing through the earlier stages anyway, and you've gotten here and you're like, that thing, that fig, if I touch that fig, it's gonna fall off. It's probably the fig I'm ready to release, right? Yeah, like Karen said, the tomato should just plop in your hand. So, and here's the other side of this. If you don't do some of this work, I call it spiritual exfoliation. I mean, this is the key to everything. This is the key to good health. It's the key to good aging. You know what I mean? It's like people who don't age well, people whose health is tough, right? People whose metabolism is slow. Like they're not moving energy through, right? And they're just allowing these clogs to stay, and then they expect their system to work around it. Tonight, I want you to get excited with this thought of like, I'm really going to try to push that thing through because I know it's ready. And if you don't know if it's ready or not, probably it's not. Don't you think? I mean, I'm curious about your perspective on this too, but in my opinion, in my experience, if I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to release that, 9 times out of 10, I'm not. But when I go, oh yeah, baby, I flush that toilet. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, yeah. And remember, metabolism is energy. So we rev our metabolism when we raise our vibration. When the vibration needs to be, when the vibration is lower, the metabolism is slower. There's always a relationship or a kinship between your body functions and your energy level. I can see it and feel it in my own body too. When my vibe is higher, I digest my food better, I sleep better. You know what I mean? When my vibe is lower, my sleep is disrupted, my food doesn't digest it as easily, right? And it's funny because you can look at your own family for patterns. Like everybody in my family has diverticulitis. What? I don't, but I mean, why? Diverticulitis is these little pockets of food in your intestine that like decides it wants to just live in your body forever and kind of ferment. And I mean, it's a biological condition, but I think there's an energetic root to it. So it's always interesting to me from like a medical medium perspective to look at these like ongoing, especially if they're throughout the whole family. Like why is the system slow? Why does the system get stuck, right? So if you don't know what you need to release, that's why we're doing the first part of the meditation, okay, which is to go into a space, what I call the Hall of Records, and I'll explain more about that before we start, to ask your spirit guides what you need to release. Who knows better than they do? I mean, in my experience, when the spirit guides tell you it's time to go, it's time to go. They don't mess around, right? Yeah, it's interesting. When you look at your family history of illness, there's usually a story there, an energetic story. And a lot of us have decided we want to be the ones to try and flip the script a little bit, to at least start to explore and feel into why some of those things seem to be universal in some people's lineage and not in others, right? Yeah. Speed up the vibes and the metabolism. You can also ask your spirit guides for help. They will help you. You can ask your spirit guides, please help me raise the vibration. Please help me move energy through my body more efficiently. I mean, they don't help unless you ask. It's a diet cherry Pepsi. So good. Not good for me, but I only have one a day and it's kind of like dessert for me. Yeah, so Regina's exactly right. Regina said, I'm confused about what to release. I'm just going to ask for guidance tonight. And Regina, if you feel at the end of it like there's really nothing for you to release right now, then just enjoy the meditation. Because in addition to being a releasing meditation, this is a grounding meditation. My goal tonight is to help you feel a little bit lighter, because I want you to feel anchored into the planet and to know that you have this doorway that's open there, and that there really is sort of an energetic composting that happens, that the earth herself can take from you what's too heavy for you to carry around anymore. Yeah, and it's a gift, right? But a lot of people don't trust that, or they think it's their cross to bear that they have to carry these things by themselves, and that's, again, when you start to look at people and how they age, I see a lot of this. If people think it's all on them and there's nobody to help them and this is just what they have to do, and you start to see, over time, like how that body kind of contracts on itself versus staying vital and staying in a space of a higher frequency, which allows the energy to move through you and you're not holding it all the time. What crystals for tonight? That's a great question. One of the things, and I don't think we have these anymore, so I'm not showing it to you to say, hey, you should go get one. I kept one of the perfume bottles, the generator perfume bottles for tonight, because this is obsidian, and I knew we were going to be doing something with releasing ahead of distillation. So this is what I'm working with tonight, is my little generator bottle. So once we make our Journey to Purification perfume, I'm going to put it in here because it's a purification and a releasing blend, but very high vibration. So I would say obsidian is a great choice for tonight. We're doing some upper dimensional work too. So any of your tektites, Libyan gold, moldavite, columbianite, ognimonitite, which a lot of you have because we've brought those to you. You should have at least one tektite in your gemstone collection. And it really should just be whichever one you love, because the tektites come from different parts of the world. And some people feel more connected to Asia, and some people feel more connected to Egypt. Some people feel more connected to, the Czech region, Northern Europe area. So it kind of depends on which one resonates most with you. Always, when in doubt, quartz is great because quartz can be programmed to function as if it's any other crystal. It's the only crystal that can do that. So if you're ever in a pinch, I will always tell you quartz is your super good BFF for energy work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so obsidian, quartz. On the releasing side, I would say all of the grounding stones. I would also say bronzite would be really good for tonight. But obsidian and bronzite are probably the two best for releasing. You could also use hematite, you could use black tourmaline, you could use hypersthene. So hopefully that's helpful. Tibetan quartz would be lovely. Super good, actually, Lauren, because it comes from such a high vibrational place. I'm going to be teaching about Tibet in January in Crystal Masters, and I'm going to be teaching the legend of the formation of the Himalayan Ridge, which is one of my favorite mythological stories, and I've actually never really taught it before, so that's coming. So I think hopefully that's helpful. You know what I mean? Those are all kind of like really good options, but then ultimately your intuition is always going to be the best guide for which tools to work with. Yeah, the bronzite star would be really good if you have it from Crystal Masters. That would be really good for tonight. In fact, I would tell you to sit on it. If you have the shungite plate from Crystal Masters, sit on that. That will help you. That will really anchor you into that earth star. So either of those would be really good. Go get your tools. I give you those things with intention, you know? And then, I don't know, I mean, I do it too. Sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I have that. I should go get that. Rarely when you're doing a ceremony do you need to go and run and get something new. Usually when you're doing a ceremony, it's a matter of remembering what you have and then remembering to use it, right? Yeah, and then so anything other than what I've said, if your intuition is guiding you, go with your intuition. Your intuition's never going to lead you astray. Yeah, and if you're like me and you got, junk in the trunk, you could probably fit one of those under each cheek. My booty is very generous, so I could probably fit the star under one and the plate under the other and be just fine. The shungite plate I use almost every day too. Mine is downstairs right now, actually, because I always put my, when I make my detox beverage in the morning, which I've done religiously for years, which is lemon juice and apple cider vinegar, I always put it on the shungite plate because my intention is to release stored fat, and any toxins, and then I drink it. So that shungite plate is used in my house every single day. Would love to see you using it too if you have it. Okay. So, let me just make sure I've covered everything that I wanted to share with you. So let's turn back over here. I'm going to put a little bit of our incense onto my charcoal. Make sure I'm fully cooking here. I wasn't convinced. I thought it went all the way, but it may not have. This looks like kind of a bunk little. Let's see. If we get smoke, then we're good. If we don't, we don't. We're not. Yeah, I had a feeling. Let me try to light it one more time. Then we have to start over. There we go. Now she's gone. So I'm going to light my candle. And then if you have your Fuse elixir, this is a really good one. It has peppermint, it has nutmeg, which we studied extensively in perfume around the world. So a lot of you are like experts on nutmeg. Nutmeg has two different parts, right? And both of those are really good for grounding and releasing, healing, detoxifying. And then it has vetiver, which is very deeply grounding and purifying. So I'm going to put a little bit at my wrist, and then just a touch at my third eye for what I know, at my wrist for what I do, and my ankles for where I go. Isn't that yummy? I have to tell you, I love the combination here of peppermint with vetiver. And then there's just a little bit of the spice from the nutmeg and the clove. It's surprising. One of the things that this particular perfume, isn't it amazing? This perfume is, for me anyway, what you would find in a really fine French perfume store. They do combinations like this, vetiver and peppermint, where you're like, what is that? I can't put my finger on it, but it is intoxicating. And what I love is it's perfect for tonight's ceremony because peppermint often will take you into those upper chakras. That's why it's so good for migraines, because it relaxes and softens the upper part of the central nervous system. And then vetiver is all root. Vetiver is like anchoring you to the planet. So for tonight, because we're going up to access wisdom and then down to anchor and release, this is absolutely the perfect combination of oils. Isn't it pretty? So I'm glad you like that too. This one is good too. After we're done here with this for the month, this is going to Dave because he loves it and it's really sexy on him. You might try this on your partner too, because everybody's got a different pH. I love it on me, but on him, it's like, it's one of the sexiest things I've ever smelled on him, and he really likes it too. So I may have to get a second bottle for myself because I'm going to donate mine to the Sexy Hubby Fund. Isn't it pretty? All right, let me go back over here and we'll sprinkle a little bit of our incense together. Now that I know she's cooking, we're cooking with gas. That's right, baby. And this, one of the things that's great about your incense blends is they automatically have Palo Santo and white sage in them. So I'm just giving a little bit of that to you. Just taking a nice deep breath there. Just settle in. You know, since we're journeying tonight, it's really important to start the process now of just dropping in. I always like to take the smoke behind me too. Very gently. Just because energy gets stuck behind you, so it's good to bring it there and let it move through too. And then I'm going to put just a little bit more on my disc for my hands and let the smoke come up through your fingers. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, scolecite would be fantastic for tonight. Scolecite and obsidian would be a great duo because again, the scolecite upper chakras, upper channel, the obsidian is going to be clearing the lowers and the whole field really. Okay. So we are going to start perfuming, and I'm using this feather. This is from our crafting for next week. Are you excited for the crafting? Isn't it fun that we kind of gave you a form to build your smudge fan on? So it gives you kind of a base. I'm sure what you guys make is going to be so beautiful, but we loved giving you these little gold painted feathers to kind of get you started, and then I think we give you 2 smaller black ones in your kit, 1 or 2. And then you have, you know, of course, lots of tools and little chipstones and things from your other tools that you can incorporate into it and make it your own. Isn't the candle great too? I'm so glad you guys are enjoying. This month's tools were really exciting for me, so I'm glad you're excited too. Okay, let me put my incense away. Okay. Let me make sure there's nothing else from my notes that I wanted to say. No, I think I'm good. Okay. So I'm going to head over here so we can make perfume. So the oils that we're working with for this particular month, and these are the Journey, this is a little Journey kit we do once a month. It's optional for you. You don't have to have it. But I try to make it so, because especially for people who don't get the full tools, this was really my effort this year to make sure you have something to work with so you still feel connected to the collective. So I'm going to open my jojoba and then get my other oils prepped. So we're working with Alchemy this month. Alchemy in Arabic means as above, so below. And Alchemy is one of the most spiritual, high vibrational oils on the planet. Alchemy and cistus, always remember me telling you that. Alchemy and cistus. And I would say a third and a fourth would be Divana and Holy Basil, which is this one right here. And then valerian, which is a very, very, very important oil. It actually translates from the Latin word valor, which some of you who are Latin scholars and know Latin quite well, there's quite a few of you here who do know that word, valor. So it actually means success and strength. But its strength comes through its capacity to help you release energy. That's what valerian is really good at. People call it a sleeping oil, but the reason, I feel like I'm going to talk to you while I tell you these things. The reason that valerian is considered such a good sleeping oil and rest herb is that psychically and energetically, it's helping you release everything from the day. Now, some people don't like the smell of it. I will tell you something. I love it. I find it intoxicating. I grow valerian in my garden and dry it for tea. It is such a great, if you blend that with some lavender from your garden and some chamomile, they're really easy to grow. That makes the best kind of sleepy time tea for you. A little mugwort in there would be kind of yummy too, if you have that too. Some people don't like it. So it's completely up to you. In my experience, it's 50-50. And in my experience, it's you either love it or you hate it. You know what I mean? There's kind of no in between. But one of the things I like to teach people is that that's how valerian works. It works by helping you release anxious thoughts. Like a lot of people can't sleep at night because their mind is going from like everything that happened during the day and why'd you do that? You could have done better at that or whatever. Like they can't release those thoughts. Valerian, it's the success of valerian in helping you rest is that it's helping you release all of that. It's almost like a very mild sedative, if you will. So, and then mugwort is always good with everything. You start putting buchu in there, now you're going to take me off the planet to another dimension, and maybe you want that. So those are my buchu, valerian, cistus, and lemmy, divana. I don't think if there's anything, and mugwort. You have those in your library, you pretty much have everything to take you downtown, funky town. Little Damiana would also help you and probably bring a little bit of, sensual desire, which could be useful too. I always like to give you the backstory. Yeah. You're growing valerian cows. I think it's fantastic. And it's not hard to grow. And you can find valerian on Etsy. There's really great people who have herbs you can purchase on Etsy. And I love shopping on Etsy because I love knowing I'm supporting somebody's dream. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you do this too, but if I'm buying something and before I go on Amazon, I always go on Etsy first. Because I'd rather buy it from somebody who's, has their dream and they're starting their business than buy something from something that's, big and kind of overproduced. Oh, Blue Lotus, of course. Heidi Hawking? How did I leave Blue Lotus off my list? Come on now, Athena. Yes, Blue Lotus, which of course has a psychoactive ingredient in it, which is why it's so super magic. Now I want you to smell your alemi first, okay? And then I want you to smell your alemi and your tulsi together. Tulsi has a very tea-like smell to me. For some of you, that will be the blend. You will love most of you will love these two together. And then I want you to smell the two of them together with your valerian. If you use just a touch of your valerian, you don't have to overdo it. Just use a little bit for the energy. Unless you love it, then go whole hog on it. That will be a perfect blend for you. Okay. Alemi, interestingly enough, that a lot of people don't know, is related to frankincense. And it has all the properties of frankincense. So it's very cleansing, very purifying, helps you to release, but it also brings clarity, it brings hope, it revitalizes the spirit. The ancient Egyptians used it in rites of passage for the soul to the afterlife. just like they used Blue Lotus. And in many cases, they used Alemi in place of Blue Lotus. So that's why it's so powerful. And like I said, the name Alemi translates to as above, so below. And then the holy basil, right here, which is Tulsi. I grow Tulsi as well. Tulsi is very easy to grow. It helps you release old patterns that aren't serving you. It brings your chakras into balance. It brings you calm. And if you're going through hormonal changes, let me just tell you how much Tulsi has helped me. Seriously, because I'm in menopause right now. People kept saying clary sage, clary sage, clary sage for menopause. I wasn't having any success with clary sage. I was like, maybe it helps everybody else, doesn't help me. Tulsi tea before bedtime has been a staple for me. And then lately I've been adding in reishi mushroom with Tulsi. And then you can add a little valerian if you want. Like I said, I dry my own. And I use a little tea ball, right? So you can mix and match your herbs. I take the tea bags apart and kind of make my own alchemy. But Tulsi before bed, if you're having hormone issues, you heard it here. I've been having a lot of luck with it. Okay, so let's take our bottle. I don't have an incense stick with me today. That's a bummer. So what I'm going to do is get creative, yo. I'm going to take out of my trusty sage bundle here. I'm going to take a white sage leaf. Just one. Like that. And I'm going to light it. And then just into the bottle. It's quick, but it's definitely a cleansing and a purifying of the container. And it's kind of cool. If you haven't seen this before, it fills up the bottle with smoke. You see the smoke in there? You kind of see it rising. And then you can, of course, don't let that go to waste. I can set that on my charcoal disc and let her cook it down. Okay. Now, all right, so I'm going to start with Alemi because I'm going to use most of it in my blend. I really love Alemi and I want it to be nice and strong. I'm making a very strong blend with this month's perfume. So that means it's going to be probably 2/3 EOS and 1/3 jojoba. So that's about the amount of Alemi in my blend. And then I'm going to add my Tulsi. And it's really nice as you're doing this to acknowledge the plants, thanking the mother plants for offering themselves to this blend, thanking Alemi for its incredible magic of hope and of supporting my soul's evolution, bringing peace, Alemi does, helping me to see that in keeping with as above, so below, that what's in the spirit realm is in the physical and what's in the physical is in the spirit realm, which helps me with grief. And then Tulsi, thanking the Tulsi plant for its offering as well. I used about 2/3 of that. So that's what my bottle looks like right now, because I'm just using a dash of my valerian. And thanking the Tulsi here for helping me let go. I mean, this is what this blend is about. This is purifying so that we can move into the next phase of distillation without the heaviness and the bulk of all the energies that have been surrounding us. You should cut them a little bit, Casey, but you don't have to cut them too much. If there were citrus oils in here, if there was cinnamon in here, if there were some oils that are known to be more irritating, I would tell you to cut it at least 50-50. But these are generally oils that can even be used neat, meaning undiluted. I'm never going to recommend that you use oils neat because some people are still very sensitive. But this is a blend that you can dilute about 30% and you're safe. If you're working with citrus and cinnamon and more of the allergens, I would recommend at least a 50% dilution, for sure. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Did you smell it? Do you like it? Just the two of those together? Oh, that is good. I really like it. Yeah, you must do Tulsi. You must try it. If you're in your 50s, give it a go, on my recommendation. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of my valerian in here. I'm not counting drops necessarily, but that's about 5 drops. 6, 7. 7's a good number. How about 8? Infinite clearing. Maybe that's what I'll name this one. Oh, that's nice. Okay. And then I just turn it gently 3 times, which gives enough of a blend to the oils to be able to tell if I like it. Because the rule with essential oil blending, as you know, is if you like it now, you're going to like it later once you dilute it. If you don't like it now, you're not going to like it later. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, I'm very happy with that. There's enough valerian in there for the energy, but this is not a valerian scent, but it'll be enough to help me, especially because I can use this before bedtime too. This is going to be my Athena's Magic Menopause, let that shit go, back to the earth, blast off blend. I don't think I can fit that into a label, but that's kind of the vibe I'm going for tonight. Blast off hormones. It's weird. It makes sense in my head. Lord have mercy. I know, right? Okay. Oh, hi, Allison. Now you're all good. Come on in. Okay. Now, that's about not quite 2/3 full. Do you see it? Can you see it? Is that better? Yeah, you can kind of see it better there. It's about 2/3 of the way full. So I'm going to add jojoba to fill it. And I generally, most aromatherapists fill to the neck. Like you don't want to fill all the way up here because if you do that, as soon as you put your dropper in, it's going to overflow, right? So the rule is always fill it to the neck. And then turn it 3 times. You can really see it blending in there. It looks beautiful. Okay, now the real test is, do you like it now? No, but do you like it now? And then let's apply a little bit and see how we go. Oh, that's very nice. I would wear that as a perfume. There's a very slight, I would almost guess there's tobacco in it, and there isn't, you know? But there's a very slight, like, ceremonial tobacco. Has a little bit of that smell to it to me. It's very interesting. Okay, so, and then, my last step, because I saved this for this, if you happened to get one, you could do the same thing. So I'm taking my generator bottle, and I'm going to add this blend into it. It's easier to do this with the quartz bottles because you can see with the obsidian it's a little bit harder to see. I'm not going to overfill it. I do want enough of it in there. And it holds quite a bit, which is kind of cool. Usually those little like decorator bottles, gemstone bottles don't hold very much. This one is really going for it here. I'm not even like 1/3 of the way in, I don't think. So I think I'm going to pour. Still room. Oh, that's good. That's the right. And tighten that up. And now this is going to land my altar like that. Clean it up a little bit. And on it goes. There it goes. I hope you're enjoying that as much as I am. So again, now that I've got it going through my roller here, a little bit of my wrist for what I do, my third eye for what I know, and my ankles for where I go. I don't know if those are gone. I have no clue. Once I bring something to you, I kind of just, let it go and kind of move on. So I don't kind of have to keep track of that stuff. But if they are there, you'll find them at SG. I don't know what the discount code is today. I can't remember. But Alexis can help you find them if you would like one. I think the quartz and the obsidian are sold out, but I'm not sure. Don't go do that now, though. Let's you can always go and check that out later. Okay. Now, come back, darling. I need to try it with the elixir. Good call on that. Casey said it smells really good with the elixir. Okay, so I've got just the perfume on. I'm going to go back and put some of the elixir on with it. Oh, that is nice. Yeah, because the vetiver with the clove and everything else, it's an additional, it drops it down a little bit, it deepens it. Good call on that, Casey. That's really nice. The other thing you can do that's kind of fun with your elixirs, have you done this, is spray them on your incense. Maybe not next to my candle, but usually if my charcoal's good, it'll smoke up a little bit. I'm telling you, that charcoal never really lit tonight. It's kind of not a great charcoal disc. But it usually puts on a little show. It's not going to do it tonight. That's okay. I'm going to shut that light off. Okay. So good, right? Just take a deep breath there. That's the power of scent when you're working shamanically, is how much that scent can immediately shift the energy in your field. If you let it, it can immediately drop you down. Isn't that yummy? You smell chocolate too? I want to smell chocolate. I smell like smoke. Yeah, whatever you have is great. I'm always going to make the perfume with you because a lot of you have the tools, but if you don't have the tools, mix what you have and have fun. You know what I mean? It's not always about do you have the exact same things I have, because your intuition may lead you to totally different ingredients. So just embrace the journey. That's really what it's all about. And a lot of you, your creativity is so powerful. And a lot of you have said that through these classes, you've also created your own formulas for things, which is kind of my dream, that maybe I inspire you, but then that leads you to say, oh, I want to try this combination, and you fall in love with it and leads you on your way. Okay, you ready? So I want you to roll your shoulders back, call your energy into present time. Let's get ready to fly a little bit tonight. It is time. So I'm going to start by just coming through your energy field with my rattle and my energy field too. I've got things attached to me. So I'm going to start above your head. Just bring the rattle down. I'm going to do is just go through your field and kind of shake up, loosen up some of the energy, break up some of the pockets and places in your field. I'm going to do the same thing for my own energy field. And then we're going to go side to side through your field. Just breaking up, releasing, letting go. Creating space, right? then I like to rattle behind myself just a little bit. Just making sure everything behind me is cleared up too. And then I'll get started opening our circle. And just set an intention for this moment. This journey tonight is really our last main releasing experience of the year in Soul Shift. We'll release the year at the end of the year, but this is our last big opportunity to let go of whatever's been kind of stuck, holding you back. And again, you may not know what that is right this very minute. It may come to you in the meditation. But I want you to set an intention for what this experience will be for you tonight. So take a moment, and you can say that intention out loud. You can just keep it within your heart. You can share it in the feed if that feels good. Although sometimes it's nice just to let the feed go for a little while, you know what I mean, and just be in your own space. This is our one time a month where I get to really just take you away. And so it's nice just to unplug and disconnect from the feed if that feels good to you. Sometimes staying connected feels good too. And I want you to take a deep breath and really settle into that intention for tonight. And if intention setting is hard, or if you're new to the practice, me too, Colin. And Shannon said this is your first one, so enjoy, you know. I'm so glad it's your first one. I think that's really beautiful. So, and if you don't know what your intention is, try completing the sentence, my intention for tonight's journey is, and let it be simple, let it be easy. Your intention could be as simple as, my intention is to feel better after tonight's ritual. That's a great intention. Or my intention is to release what no longer serves me, so I don't carry it forward into the season of beauty ahead, right? We have winter here coming in the northern hemisphere. You guys have summer coming in the southern hemisphere. You've got beauty ahead of you, right? You don't want to carry all your baggage. It's like taking 9 suitcases through the airport when you only need 1. How much harder is that? So just quietly centering yourself with your intention for this experience. Feel good? Colin is fully releasing being a lawyer. I think that's beautiful. Because as you release that, you're stepping into a new identity, aren't you? And what that will be for you. It's beautiful too. So if you have your cloak and you'd like to wear it, you are so welcome to put it on now. That feels good. Feels very cozy. It's getting colder in the room, so now the timing is right. So I'm just going to take a moment and call in the guides and the guardians with you to be present with us for our ceremony this evening. There we go. Get my lighting right so you can see me. So let's begin by calling in the guides and the guardians of the East this evening. And to the guides and the guardians of the East, we greet you on this incredibly important night, just ahead of the full moon. And by the light of that beautiful moon, we call upon you to illuminate the path, to open our minds and our hearts this evening, to help us to find clarity, to help us to find grace. Help us to see our lives from an elevated place, from a higher state of awareness, Help us to feel connected tonight, Guardians of the East, to a new beginning, to a new way of seeing old situations, old problems. Help us to have a new sense of hope and optimism, courage and faith. And all of that begins in the East, and we welcome you. And to the guides and the guardians of the South, element of fire, we call upon you tonight for transformation. Help us to burn through what has been holding us back. Help us to move past obstacles and limitations. Help us to find creative solutions to the challenges before us. And help us to finally shed some of that old skin that we know is no longer needed. Underneath it is waiting this fresh, new, vibrant skin, and we can move forward into the new year from that place. We welcome you. And to the guides and the guardians of the West, we call upon you tonight to come in with emotional healing and renewal. We call upon you tonight for compassion, and we call upon you for nurturing and tenderness in the West. Help us to see the beauty of this season of autumn and to do the work of the season, which is to receive the harvest with gratitude and prepare for rest. And we welcome you. And to the guides and the guardians of the North, tonight we call upon you for grounding. We call upon you for protection and patience, perseverance. Help us to stay steady and strong. We call upon you to remind us of the slow passage of time. Help us to keep our perspective in times of difficulty and challenge. And thank you for always reminding us that we have time. We don't have to rush. We can just be fully in this moment, enjoying every single minute of this process together. And we welcome you. We call upon the guides and the guardians of the spirit element, the fifth gateway, and that's the element of magic, the element of spirit, of ether, the presence of the unknown that animates all life. We call upon you tonight to move within our circle, to move within each of us, to help us find that deeper place of magic within so that we can vibrate that frequency out into the world. Help us to find inspiration tonight so that we can embody inspiration for others. And we welcome you. Also acknowledging tonight the vertical gateways, the guardians of the upper world, the middle world, and the lower world, and the shamanic tradition. We welcome in the guides and the guardians of the Akashic records, the guides and the guardians of this here now moment in our community, and the guides and the guardians of the lower world, the planetary matrix, the crystal world. We welcome all of you in to bring us wisdom, to connect us together across space and time, and to help us plug into that divine magic matrix of energy that runs across our planet. I'm welcoming in all guides, all guardians, east, south, west, north, spirit, above, present, and below. And with that, our circle is prepare, the space is ready. Feels cozy, doesn't it? Feels like a blanket. It's so nice. And bring your attention back now to your intention. What was that vision, that purpose for tonight? And again, if you don't have it yet, that's okay. Your guides will give it to you as we go. You don't have to be there yet. Just take your time tonight. We have all the time in the world. That's right. I am here, you are here, we are here. Doing this sacred holy work together. Yeah, just soften it, relax. Nowhere else to be, nowhere else to go. Just this Bring your attention to your body. Bring your attention to your feet, to your calves and your knees, to your hips, to your digestive system, your heart, your lungs. Bring your attention to your throat. Relax and soften every muscle, even your jaw. Bring your attention to your eyes and your eyelids. Let them relax. And right behind your eyes, your pineal gland. It's the seat of your intuition. Imagine that now just glowing a bright indigo blue, like you're turning on a flashlight. And let that light shine out through your human eyes, glowing with the wisdom of your knowing. Bring your attention to the top of your head, to the crown, your crown. Your attention above your crown. This is an important process of this meditation. Start to notice who's noticing, right? Who's noticing your crown? Who's bringing their attention above your head? Tonight's the you with a capital Y. Let's start to become aware of the higher self. Your higher self is the one that observes you, right? Your higher self is the one that has been through all of these lifetimes, thousands of years. It's the wisest, oldest part of you. So higher self, we're calling upon you tonight to guide us above the crown, above even the soul star chakra. Feel your attention being pulled like a cord above your head. Feel it stretching your spine. Above your crown, above the soul star, as we leave these human gateways, we move into the astral field. And just gently allow yourself to leave this present moment, this time-space continuum. Let go of time, who cares what time it is? And let go of space, who cares where you are? As we leave time and space behind, we enter the astral field. Different levels of awareness and wisdom become accessible to us. I want you to imagine now that you are at the top of this octahedron. You're inhabiting that uppermost point of that rhombus, of that diamond shape. And at the top of the diamond is a doorway. I want you to ascend and I want you to open that door. It's safe to open that door. Behind that door is another dimension, another gateway. It's a portal to wisdom. It's a multidimensional library. It's a living record of everything that's ever happened, your life, in all lives, in all lifetimes, across all timelines, the past, the present, the future. It's all recorded here. Higher self, I call upon you tonight, connecting us with the guides of the Akashic Library, the records of time. Tonight, higher self, and spirit guides who are here as well, we ask that you show us tonight what we need to release, what is ready to be surrendered at this time, without forcing, without making it happen, without working hard for it, just with ease. What's the right fruit? What can we let go of now? It's going to improve our lives, bring greater ease and flow, connection, help us to relax, soften into our purpose and our faith. Show us what that is. Isn't it an experience? Is it a phase or a time in your life? Is it a person or a relationship? Is it a behavior that you're engaging in? Something you're doing that you're ready to surrender, let go of, not do anymore? Is it a way of thinking? Is it a pattern in your mind? Is it how you see something? You're just really subtly ready not to see something the same way anymore. Is it an emotion? Are you ready to let go of anger, frustration, resentment? And higher self, if you can you show us where this energy has been sitting in our bodies? Where has it been sitting in you? This thing, this energy, this feeling, this emotion. Just gently bring our awareness there. Let's talk to that part of our body from this elevated place. Ask our bodies if they're ready tonight to let go of the physical anchor of this energy, this vibration. Or is it ready to untangle this knot? If you have questions for your spirit guides, now is the time to ask. Right? You can ask, is there anything else? Is this from a past life? Right? Beautiful. What else do we need to see for now? Let go. You can give your spirit guides permission here if you want them to start releasing on your behalf. I'm going to give them permission. Spirit guides, I authorize you, higher self. There are energies and cords and emotions that are not serving me. I give you permission to release them on my behalf tonight. Just clearing the path. They need permission. And if that doesn't resonate, then you just release. They're just there to help. And they're fast. Can you see what it is? Can you see what it is? so small tonight, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be big. It'll be right for you. It's fun to fly around in these upper dimensions. We lose the boundaries. What makes us human feels free, doesn't it? Just floating. Take one more minute to enjoy that before we come back down. Make a note here of what that lightness feels like so you can remember it. You can create it. Find this frequency again. It's a perfect antidote to stress and to fear when you're up here. It's an entirely different state of conscious awareness. We move from beta to alpha to theta. Okay. So slowly now, coming back down from the fifth and above dimension. Coming back toward that soul star. Starting to become aware now of space, the room you're in. Feeling the connection to your body. Becoming aware of your crown, the top of your head. Starting to slow the drumming. Slow the vibration, slow the frequency. Back to this time-space dimension. Returning to that light. It's your pineal gland. Seeing that blue indigo glowing light. Returning to your intention. Back to the throat. Centering at your heart. And back to the solar plexus. And feeling us ground even more deeply into the body, to the sacral. And we're going to land right down at your root. Your lowest physical chakra, that's your spinal column. It's your base chakra. We're going to bring your attention there. And here at the root, we always want to remind ourselves that we're safe, we're connected, we're held. We're exactly where we need to be. We're worthy of love and healing. This is going to be the most density you'll feel in your body tonight. So now we're going to go down south. But here we are, your body now is the widest part of that octahedron, right? So feel the expansiveness in your body. That's right. And now let's descend down to the bottom of that octahedron, that southernmost point. And this chakra sits right beneath your feet, right where your body makes contact with the earth. I want you to push past now the mantle and the crust of the planet. Feel yourself pushing down past the top layers of soil and rock. Just beginning to make contact with the deepest parts of the earth as we come to the bottom of that octahedron. And I want you to look down and see, visualize the bottom of that point, the bottom of the octahedron. You see it as a point of light beneath your feet. And I want you to imagine looking down at it and into it. And just like all of the other chakras, it's a spinning disc. It's the biggest of the chakras. And it's the slowest moving of the chakras. And I want you to see it turning clockwise. It's a beautiful sort of a sienna colored, dark brown colored, very lightly illuminated disc of energy that, as it opens, becomes a portal that would lead you down to the very center of the earth. I want you to visualize the center of that portal opening, and you're looking down through it. And as you sit and gaze down into this gateway, you start to feel the urge to release. You can feel that this spiral will take whatever you can give it. It takes it completely and gently, but permanently. What are you ready to offer into this portal of grounding, this portal of releasing, this portal of purification? And you can imagine sending words or images. I'm visualizing energies pouring from my hands down, 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 down. Just pouring, pouring, pouring. Send it in, send it through. It's just waiting there to see for you. And you can give and give and give. You can't overwhelm it. You're not too much for it. Nothing's too heavy. Nothing's too old. Pouring, giving, releasing. And higher self, we call upon you here to remind us, bringing us back to our core intention tonight. All of the wisdom that we gathered at those upper dimensional points, remind us now and help us to release, let go, surrender. And try to stay in a space of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking this. It's been too heavy for me. Thank you, thank you, thank you for receiving this. Thank you, thank you, thank you for making space, reminding me that we're not alone, right? I'm not alone, you're not alone. And just feel it cleansing, clearing, receiving, transmuting. And just one more minute here. And again, enjoy this part, right? Enjoy this connection, this grounding, this
absolute protection and being held by the strength of the force of the energy beneath you. Always here, always waiting, always holding, always anchoring for you. You can let it all go there. Fear, resentment, anxiety, sadness, your grief, your health challenges, whatever's ready, you can just give it all now. If you're trying to heal relationships, maybe put the old energy of that relationship here. Give yourself a fresh, new perspective tonight without all that dead weight of the past. If you're ready to forgive, it's really beautiful for this season. And now higher self, as we prepare to return up the channel now. Let's visualize that Earth Star chakra now. That portal sealing just a little bit behind you, letting you know that what is left has been left for good. Unless you decide to retrieve it. But if you're ready, you can go ahead and say, higher self, spirit guides, I give you permission to remove it. And I give you permission to remove anything else on my behalf that's ready to go. So I can live a lighter, freer, more joyful future without all of this. Feels good. And now ascending again, leaving that mantle and crust of the planet, coming up to the topsoil, feeling connected to your feet, back in your body, up over your calves, your knees, your thighs and hips, back to that root chakra, and up to the sacral chakra, the solar plexus. And let's come back and land right in the center of the system at the heart. That fourth chakra, the Anahata, that beautiful green spinning disc of light. For the last part of our work tonight, you've released a lot. You did great work tonight. But wherever we release, we must also welcome. And I want you to fill, especially as we're under a full moon tonight, I want you to fill those empty spaces tonight with intention. And so for each emotion or experience or energy or relationship that you released, what do you want to call in? If you released fear, can you welcome in excitement or love or courage? Right? If you released sorrow, can you call in now from your heart joy, ease, peace? If you released a health challenge, can we call in vibrant, beautiful health for you tonight? Comfort in your body, ease of movement, beautiful rest. Right? I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. And if you released an old profession, right? Like Colin is, or old connections that aren't serving you, can we call in something beautiful to take its place. Or at least call in possibility. I like possibilities. Let's call in possibilities of abundance, of enjoyment, of flow, purpose, connection to our soul path and our dharma, a deeper knowing of who we are. Can we call in our essence, truth in the core of our very being to replace insecurity and doubt? Beautiful. That's good. Work that energy right through. I love it. Keep it moving. That's right. And I want you to go back now to the places in your body where your higher self may have shown you where that energy was sitting. Consciously bring your attention back there now. How does that feel, that area? Right? That shoulder, that neck, that back, those hips. Where is that energy now? Has it been dislodged a little bit? Right? Calling in wisdom. Possibilities are good. Possibilities are like handing keys to the universe. Right? It's like giving them the wheel. It's always good to let the universe drive. Their navigation system is better than ours. Right? Beautiful. And we give thanks. We give thanks. We give thanks for this transmutation, this clearing, this cleansing. Just take a moment to notice the whole channel, right? From root to crown. Feel those energy centers moving and spinning in alignment. Set the intention for their balance. Call in all of that beautiful full moon light tonight to light up those rays. Light up that crown, light up that third eye, light up that throat, and that heart, and that solar plexus, and that sacral, and that root. And we give thanks for possibilities that are already unfolding. From a clearer place, a clearer state of being. That's right. And together we say, Amen. Aho. And so it is. Amen, aho, and so it is. It feels nice just to bask in that for a minute, doesn't it? Just to bask in that for a minute. That's interesting. The angel said that her bronzite sphere actually feels lighter. That doesn't surprise me. I love it, but the spirit world is so divinely magical and mysterious and potent in so many ways that it doesn't surprise me. I would be very
I'd be very surprised if multiple of you didn't feel that, actually. Yeah, it's beautiful. Get a little bit of light there. There we go. Okay. I keep being told that we're not completely done yet. So I think it would be good to take one more moment here while we're still in the circle, while we're still in the container. And I'm feeling called to tell you to do this with your hands. So I want you to take your hands like this and rub them together. Make sure there's room on the carpet or the floor in front of you. Just raising some energy. And I want you to close your eyes. And let's ask the higher self one more time. Is there anything else from our field that needs to be released tonight? Anything else that we need to let go of? Well, I got a doozy. It's like, really? Okay. Anything else? I want you to open your hands. Your breath is very powerful. I want you to blow your breath across your palms, infusing the energy of that, whatever that remaining energy is. And I want you to take your palms down and touch the earth or the carpet, whatever earth looks like where you are right this minute. And I want you to really visualize sending that energy down into the center of that point, the center of that massive portal. Yeah. And really make the commitment here tonight. This is very important. Make the commitment to releasing. I know it's hard. I know releasing is hard work. But in a way, it's also just a decision. It's a choice not to carry some of this with you. It's a liberation of you in so many ways. And then when you feel ready, bring those hands back together, prayer pose over your heart. Yeah, if you're seeing light fluctuations in my room, it's because of the time change. And it's not quite daytime, not quite nighttime, and my computer sometimes doesn't know where to focus, Heidi. So it'll get easier. We're in that liminal space. Oh. So how are you doing? Bonbon says, I now know where to begin. My physical body as well as spiritual body, mental blockages. I embrace my new journey forward. That is so beautiful. And I'm so glad you were here for this journey because, you know, these moments can be very transformational. And you might say, well, how can a journey be transformational, right? But it's about the energy work that you just did, and it's about the intention that you set. And those things are very, very powerful, and they have their own frequency. When you release energy, you really release it. It's not just an exercise. It really does leave you. Beautiful. I like that, what you did with that angel too. That was very cool. You feel happy? Do you feel a little lighter? Like a little more, what's the word, like buoyant? Maybe, or a little bubbly? Luna wants to eat a cake. I like that. Although part of what I'm releasing is still a few pounds of weight from stress during the last 2 years, so eating a cake would sort of be counterintuitive to my purposes. Oh, I'm glad you were here, Kristen. Rachel said, I felt Gaia, I felt her love, I felt immense love and gratitude. That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let it go. Let go of fear, right?
And even if you have like a, if you have like a lingering cold that's not going away, that's good to release too. Especially again, if you've already worked the energy and the wisdom of it, then you can release it and it's easy, right? Beautiful. Oh, I love that. Christiana said, I really needed this. I got a curveball thrown at me on my birthday yesterday, which I do hope you had a beautiful birthday. And she said, I sent it away and released fear, and I'm going to re-celebrate. I really love that. You're going to re-celebrate your birthday, as you should. You should have a re-celebration. We will re-celebrate with you. You feel floaty. You want pho. Pho sounds good, doesn't it? We're big pho fans here in the Paracas household. So, oh, beautiful. I like that, Kelsey, a lot. Hillary said I was told to let go of the overprotection that I've been holding on to. If you feel like you could take a nap now and probably sleep through the rest of the evening, even if you're in Australia and you're in a totally different time zone, this probably did its work for you. Couple things to tell you after a really intense releasing, you need to drink water. I hate water, so I make tea. That's how I drink my water. Or I'll drink water if it's got like lemon in it. Then I can drink that. So however your body will tolerate water, drink some water. It'd be really nice to get in a bath tonight with some Epsom salts because that's going to help to release too. It sort of reinforces it. If you don't have a bath, take a nice shower. That would be good for you too. All of those things will help you. And I used to not believe it, really, honestly, when I was first going through my own metaphysical training and we talked about salt and we talked about water and all of these tools. I really didn't believe it until I started doing energy work without drinking water and taking baths and showers afterward. And sometimes it can actually make you feel more tired the next day because there's so much in your body that wants to continue the releasing process. And if you don't give it the tools to do that internally and externally, it kind of interrupts the process. So yeah, have your hubs make you some tea. It'd be really nice if you could take something relaxing like a sleepy time or a chamomile or valerian or something like that. Sleepy time tea is actually a great tea for rest, and it's easy to find. You can always find it on Amazon, and sometimes even the dollar store will have sleepy time tea. It's one of my favorites. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, Tony said it's only lunchtime, so that's what I was gonna say. If you're in a different time zone. Now, if you could fall asleep at lunchtime and stay asleep, that's how I know we really did the work tonight. That would mean we really did it. Yeah, baby. All right, let's let go of these spirit guides who've been so generous with us this evening. I am just so cozy right now. I don't think I'm going to take this off. Oh, I just love it so much. I told Zoe I'm going to wear it trick-or-treating with the girls. She's like, you should, because it's always really cold here by SoCal standards on Halloween night, and they want to go trick-or-treating this year, which I totally want them to because they didn't get that opportunity last year. And it may be the last year that it's cool for me to go with them, so now you know what I'm going to look like on Halloween night. Yeah, oh, thank you for that too, Saya. Blue Lotus is so wonderful, and you can find Blue Lotus tea online too. Yeah, that's a good call too. Okay, we have a lot of gateways to acknowledge and a lot of guides to release. So we always start where we ended. So let's give thanks to and release the guides and the guardians of the lower world, middle world, and upper world. Thank you so much to them for opening that incredible Earth Star portal for our releasing tonight. Thanking them for keeping us connected to each other and helping us support each other through this process, which they do. And then thanking those upper world guides for helping us access those alternative dimensions, those access points to the Akashic records. We thank you and release you with so much gratitude tonight. And then thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the spirit element. Thank you for moving through our collective and our circle, reminding us that magic is real, showing us that energy work is powerful. It has a direct impact on our mental and physical and emotional health and well-being. so good. Thank you, we release you. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the north. Thank you for protecting us, keeping us grounded and anchored, steady and stable, reminding us to take our time through this process and enjoy it. That's always what the guardians of the north do. And we thank you and release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the west, thank you for this incredible wave of release tonight, helping us to cleanse and purify ahead of the season ahead, where we really start to acknowledge and crystallize our essence, this new form that we've created after all of our work this year. So grateful to you. Thank you for the tears that we were able to shed tonight, and even the tears that we didn't shed tonight. We know that releasing comes in many ways, and we're grateful, and we release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the south, thank you for helping us find ways to transform through this experience. Thank you for the courage it took to say yes, to letting go. We give so many thanks to the guides and the guardians of the south, and release you with gratitude. And to the guides and the guardians of the east, we thank you for clarity, helping us to really identify the parts of us that are ready to be shifted, helping us to hone in on those, to articulate those, giving us the perspective we needed to understand what those are. We thank you and release you with gratitude as well. I'm going to ring your bell. Session 3 of October is complete. Oh, how cool is that? Shanna said, I just discovered one of my guides shared words for me in a dream. I'm going to blow out my candle. But I'll tell you something, I'm going to take it in the next room and light it again. I really like this candle. I've had it in my bathroom up until tonight, and I burned it twice already, and I really like it in there because there's something about the little bubbles on it. I don't know, it's very aesthetically fulfilling to me. We always have fun choosing the containers for your candles. It's like a whole process that we go through, and we're always like, oh, that one has little bubbles on it. We really like that one. Thank you so much for your kind words. I'm so glad tonight was good for you. It was my hope that it would be. And you know, you have christened this robe, this incredible, you know, piece for your wardrobe. So anytime you journey, this could be something that you put on. And it does kind of, when you're journeying with something like this, I always carry a blanket to journeys, you know, something to wrap around me. There is something about cocooning up when you're journeying that it does feel kind of natural and good to do that. So this would be something that I think you should wear all the time. And I'm really glad you like it. I'm just scrolling through the feed. If you have any questions, I do have a few extra minutes tonight, and would love to answer them. Alexis, if you're still there, you're totally welcome to sign off and go and enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for your work. I know that you guys had internet issues at the office today, so I'm kind of glad I wasn't there. Just because my interwebs were real good here at the house, so I didn't have any interruptions, but I'm sorry that you did. I know that's a pain when that happens, so. Okay. Aw, thank you, Bonnie. Mwah. I love you plenty, too. I really do. I'm so happy, you guys. Yeah, it is kind of like giving you wings, isn't it? Yeah, and you can totally pull the hood up over your face. You know, it's just kind of nice. And if you ever do public ceremonies, I mean, I know this isn't the time in our human evolution to be going to public ceremonies, which actually makes me really glad I did all those years, because, you know, it's hard to foresee when we will be able to do things like that again, and I really enjoyed them at the time. But yeah, if you ever go and do ceremonies publicly with like bigger groups, sometimes it's nice to have a hood on and you can just kind of have your private space, you know? So this is a great night to charge your crystals, Joy. So if you're working with a tool in particular tonight, you may want to now take it and let it have access to some of that beautiful moonlight for sure. Oh, I'm so glad, Bianca. Thank you for that. Tara said, my room is freezing, but my crystals laying on my body are on fire. Well, they are completely activated after tonight. Oh, thank you for that, Rachel. I see you. And I'm grateful to you, too. I really am. Thank you so much, Christiana. Yeah, well, if you guys like these, I would love to bring more things like this. I mean, it would take us a while because this we had planned for you back in I think February or March, and we started the process then, so it takes quite a while. But maybe next year we can bring back something like that. Now that we have a manufacturer who I think did a nice quality job, I'm really picky about seams and just things like that. You know what I mean? Like that everything is finished. So now that I know I have somebody who's good, it would be fun to bring something like this. I think I would like to have one of these too that's maybe the full length. So we'll have to see that, what we can do there too. Oh, how interesting. I love that. I know. Let's see. Oh, Annette, well, how are you feeling now? Are you feeling better now? She said she was laying down and just kind of felt tired. But ceremony can do that too. Ceremony can be very uplifting, but it can also be very draining. And that's why I've been giving you that guidance about the tea and the salt bath and stuff. Like when I have helped people through journeys, as a support system, I always draw a bath for them at the end because it's like just to try to get them immediately into water because it's such a good way of just continuing the process. And you might find, especially if you take a bath or shower in the next hour or so, you really might find that your journey continues. If you don't come all the way back first, you take your candle into the bathroom now and pour some of your oil into the bathtub or put some on before you get in the shower, you really might find that your journey continues a little bit too. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, and if you fall asleep during journey, I mean, I think most of you by now know this, but falling asleep during a journey is actually a good thing. Sometimes it's deeper that way. And really, in my experience, that is, and every teacher I've ever had has said the same thing, that it's really your spirit guides just knocking you out so they can get the work done. It's like, if your monkey mind is too monkey, sometimes they just have to straight knock you out and put you on the floor and just do the thing for you, I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better in that. Oh, wonderful, Rochelle. Yeah, well, and I think we have to let go of frustration and we have to let go, I'm finding, especially as the older I get, I am really trying to let go of frustration, resentment, and expectation. Those are the three, for me, those are the three emotions in my life, I don't know if that's been your experience too, that really rob me of joy. I try not to expect things of people so that I'm, because that when my expectations are up here and then what I get is down here, then I'm disappointed, and that's not a healthy emotion, So I try not to have expectations too much. I also try to watch and not have too many expectations of myself either, because if you're gonna offer that blessing to other people, you got to give it to yourself too. And then resentment, resentment harms relationships in a big way. And so the keys to not carrying resentment are communicating openly and also watching your expectations. Yeah, so those are kind of my three places where I'm really trying to let go of those things, because that allows me to enjoy my relationships more. It allows me to, everything from my marriage all the way on down. You know what I mean? I think parents have expectations of kids. I grew up with certain expectations, and when I didn't meet them, I disappointed. It's just like, I don't want to put my kids in that cycle. I also don't want to put my partner in that cycle of feeling like, having expectations of him and then he doesn't meet them and then I'm resentful, and you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a bad cycle. So letting go of all that is not easy, but if you can do it, I think it's part of the key to peace. I really do. There's a lot of freedom that comes when you let go of those things. And frustration, it's like, try not to get frustrated. Try not to get frustrated. If you allow yourself to fully be in the moment, you'll find that you're not as frustrated as often. Christine said, I woke up when I heard you say closing the circle. I'd really like to know how to see my spirit guides, hear spirit guides, or see. A lot of it, Christine, depends. So there are very specific psychic gifts. Like the ability to see is called clairvoyance, and the ability to hear is called clairaudience. And some people are naturally clairvoyant and clairaudience, so they're going to see and hear their spirit guides kind of automatically. For some people, they're going to sense them. They're clairsentient. Like I can sense my spirit guides first, and then I'm clairaudient, and then I'm clairvoyant. My clairvoyant skills are not the strongest of my skills. Plant medicine has changed that a lot, because plant medicine will usually pop your clairvoyant skills, and then once you see, you can always see. But I don't see all the time, but I can hear and sense all the time. So if I'm waiting to see my spirit guides, I might be disappointed, because that's not my primary psychic gift, if that makes sense. And some people are just straight clairvoyant, so they can see right away. We love you, Alexis. Thank you for being here. Nighty night. Mwah. Let me see if there's any other questions before I sign off. Look at that. Delene Robinson has some great wisdom. Did you see that? Expectations are resentments under construction. Look at that. That's really smart. I may have to borrow that. I really like that a lot. Tara Carson said, my husband's going to have to come get me out of this bed because I'm stuck. I'll apologize in advance to your hubby. I stuck her on the bed tonight. Sorry. Yeah, like Rachel says, her guides communicate through numbers and symbols. And Vervain is very powerful. Vervain's, a very old psychic remedy. It's very good. It's good for releasing. It's good for peace. It's very helpful to the physical body and the immune system. So Vervain is super big magics. I would explore it if that was guidance for you. Oh, thank you, Colin. I appreciate you so much. I really, really do. Okay. No, it was honestly, Delene, that was just really cool. I love it. So often you guys have these ways of putting things. And I always tell you, a lot of times you put it more beautifully than I could. But yeah, that needs to go on like a poster. Stick it to my forehead, right? Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, Melissa says, I feel strongly connected to clairvoyance. Yeah. And usually, don't you think, Melissa, like if you have visions as a young person, usually you'll always have visions. Like usually that's a gift that starts when you're a child. Zoe's pretty clairvoyant. Do you remember that? A lot of you have been around that long. She used to call them the sparklies. She used to say, Mama, you need to come mudge my room because I'm seeing the sparklies again. I'm like, well, let's go mudge the sparklies. Yeah, baby. All right, you guys. Yeah, Bianca said it beautifully too. Yeah. Expectations and resentment from myself and others is difficult, but I'm trying to let them go. Well, you took a great first step tonight. Yeah, and Christine, your gifts will develop. They really will. In interesting ways and kind of when you least expect it. And remember that the third eye chakra and the crown are the last to develop. And the third eye really develops the most in the 30s. And sometimes into the 40s. Because you're working on the other chakras up until really your mid-30s, in my opinion. So it's really the mid-30s, in my experience too, where I was like, wow, and the psychic gifts got stronger. And I don't know why I didn't think they would, but they did for sure. And now I'm very clear, like when it's my voice versus spirit guides, I can tell, because some of the things that they bring, it's like I would never have said that or said it that way, or it's, I've never seen anything like that before. So I've really started to be able to discern the difference. So anyway, all right. Mwah. Love you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. Tomorrow's full moon and crystal readings in Crystal Masters. So I'm live with you, I'm pretty sure, at 4 p.m. tomorrow in your Crystal Masters Facebook group. If you like those crystal readings, would love to have you there. And then I'm going to be live with you from 6 to 7 on YouTube for full moon ceremony. And I'm excited for both. The crystal readings are one of my favorite things every month. I love, because it's kind of it's a hybrid reading and teaching, because I get to teach you about the stone as I'm reading for you. I really look forward to that. And it doesn't seem like it's been a month since the last time we did it, but it has. So have a great evening. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for being here. I'll see you